Hey, my name's Corey, and I'm with CyberData Pros. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about a buzzword you might be hearing tossed around a lot recently, zero trust. So let's talk a little bit about zero trust, what it is, how it works, and what does it mean for your company. Stick around to find out. So let's start with the basics. What is zero trust? Zero trust is a modern security framework designed around the concept of never trust, always verify. This means that within a zero trust architecture, there is no such thing as default or implicit trust or permissions at any point. All users must be verified and authenticated each time they want to access a system, either internally or externally. Then, once a user is granted access, they are constantly validated for any access across the network. This can and is done many different ways, but a key component to remember is that you need both authentication and verification. This is usually done with some form of MFA or multi-factor authentication, coupled with a robust IAM or identity access management system and a highly segmented network that continually verifies the identity and validity of the user as well as their access and actions at every step through the network. In fact, our latest blog post on our website goes a bit more in depth about MFA and some of the more technical details if you want to check that out in the link below. It's also important to remember that zero trust architecture isn't an all or nothing proposition either. There are different levels of implementation that can suit different needs or different levels of organizational complexity. Zero trust is a massive and important shift in the way organizations store, protect, and manage internal systems and information. Let's take a look at an example of what this might look like by imagining a house, but every single room inside that house has its own door and lock. The locks in this house are designed in such a way that everyone who lives there has a different key, all of which open the front door, but each one of those keys can only open the additional doors inside of the home in which their key is designed to open. Oh, and each one of those keys is also able to positively verify who is using it. Still with me? Okay, let's go even further. Now imagine that every object inside that home, like lamps, furniture, books, etc., we're also able to positively verify who is trying to interact with it, just like the keys. This would allow only a predefined set of people to even touch it. Pretty wild, right? Well, this is essentially how a zero trust system is designed to work. Even if someone were able to somehow break in, not only would they not be able to access the rest of the home, all of the contents of the home would be completely inaccessible as well. While there are differing opinions on the minutiae, most see zero trust as the natural next leap in evolution of traditional principle of least privilege. So, what is the principle of least privilege? Well, least privilege dictates that every user of an organization only be given the bare minimum permissions and access needed for the day-to-day functions, with all other permissions and access being given on an as-needed basis, as well as revoked as soon as they are no longer needed. While this may seem like a pretty great system, it has a few inherent limitations that the zero trust architecture addresses, and does so quite well in my opinion. Let's look at our house example again and see how the two might differ. So let's say someone stole the key to the house. With least privilege, once inside the house, they would have access to everywhere and everything the original owner of the key would have, without their actual identities having to be verified moving from room to room or interacting with the things inside. This access would also include any additional permissions that may have been given to the original owner of the key and, as is often the case, could have been forgotten to be taken away after the initial need for them, giving the intruder further access to wreak havoc on the inside. In the case of zero trust architecture, the intruder would have never made it past the front door, and even if they had managed to, would have extremely limited or potentially even no additional access once inside. This is the power of a zero trust architecture and its never trust, always verify dictum. So, you've decided you want to take the leap and build a robust and efficient zero trust architecture within your own organization. Firstly, that's great. Zero trust architecture is undoubtedly quickly becoming the standard for data privacy and security, and staying ahead of the curve is always better than struggling to keep up. But if you feel like you still have more questions or need help getting started, CyberData Pros is here to help out. Our contact info is linked below, so feel free to reach out to us and schedule a free consultation with one of our data privacy and security experts to see how we can help modernize and secure your business.